Welcome back, everybody. I hope you're all having a good night. I could be better. Just watched my boys get absolutely pounded by the Rams, specifically Cam Akers, who, if you watched the video from 2 days ago, you would have known to pick up and probably start, but hey, that's just me. But today I am here to talk to you all about a new little series thing I'm going to start. It's called Stinks or Stonks. Basically, it's kind of self-explanatory. If I think a player is about to kick up, they're going to be stonks. If I think a player is about to be pretty bad or at least regress from where they were previously, they're going to be stinks. Today we got some quarterbacks for the fantasy playoffs. I know we are there. We're right there. We're so happy. We're trying to win this championship. And with this video, I will not guarantee, but I could say with pretty certain confidence that the guys I have rolled up today, there's only 3. I wanted to get more in here, but nothing really felt right. I didn't want to force anything for the sake of content. Got 3 guys for today, 2 stonks, 1 stinks. The stinks is a bit sad, the stonks or whatever, but let's kick. First up, we got the boy who was finally freed from Adam Gase last year and is finally prospering, as he should. We got Ryan Tannehill, and Tannehill were on stonks up. In what I believe to be standard scoring, which is 4-point passing touchdown, 6-point rushing, 2-point turnovers, no bonuses for anything. He is the QB7, but that came with a really bad down period from week 7 to 10, where he was the QB17 behind people like Jared Goff and I believe Teddy Bridgewater. It was a really bad stretch, but that's largely in part due to tough matchups against the Steelers, Colts, and Bears. He played the Bengals, who are fine, but those 3 matchups really brought him down in terms of production. But coming up for these crucial 3 weeks, he has the 8th easiest raw schedule and 4th easiest adjusted schedule for quarterbacks based on Mike Clay's projection algorithm thing. Real quick, raw is just total points allowed to a position, and adjusted is total points allowed in comparison to the average. So if the average points allowed to a quarterback is like 15, and his schedule is the 8th easiest, Jesus, Mike Tyson on him. 8th easiest adjusted means that they're allowing like 19 points to the quarterback position. They're allowing a lot more in comparison to what is expected. Regardless, 8th easiest raw, much easier to understand. Matchups are against Jacksonville, Detroit, and Green Bay, who are 29th, 22nd, and 8th in points per game allowed to quarterbacks this year. He's really started to click with his main weapons, A.J. Brown and Corey Davis. Low-key, Corey Davis having just as good, if not a better year than A.J. Brown, outside of, I believe, touchdowns. Look at Corey Davis next year. Maybe there will be a video at some point in the offseason, but I digress. On top of all this, his defense is absolute dog shit, allowing the 3rd most touchdowns and 8th most yards. They're super porous as of recent, which is going to result in Tannehill needing to sling and sling heavily to keep his team in games they need to win if they want to make this playoff push and lock down this division and steal it from the Colts. I can easily see him creeping back into that top 7 convo after that little down stretch, and I could honestly see him creeping into top 5 status just based on the talent around him, the fact that he's going to need to put up points in that schedule he has in front of him. In what is one of the saddest segments, I'm talking about Kyler Murray. And Kyler Murray stinks. But make no mistake, when he's healthy, he is a stud. He's capable of balling out, putting up absurd numbers. That's why he's the QB2 in fantasy. But he's still hurt. It's clear to everyone when watching him, he does not look the same, and it has shown in his numbers. Over the past 3 weeks, which he has really been hampered by this injury, I believe it's a shoulder problem, he's the QB18 in fantasy. This shows 2 things. 1, he's been absolute dog shit recently. And 2, it points out just how good he had to be the first 10 weeks of the season to still be QB2 after being QB18 for 3 consecutive weeks. In addition to being banged up, he has a really tough schedule. As per the boy, Mike Clay might be the new source moving forward. 4th hardest raw schedule and 14th easiest adjusted. So a really difficult schedule and then mid. The teams he plays are the Giants, Philly, and San Fran, who are 3rd, 11th, and 16 in points per game allowed to quarterbacks. But what might be the most concerning thing here is his absolute drop-off in terms of red zone usage and carries, which leads to decreased rushing touchdowns. Prior to Week 10, he had 8 weeks of playing and had 8 rushing touchdowns, averaging 1 a week. Since Week 10, when Kenyon Drake came back, I don't think he's had a single rushing touchdown. He dominated the red zone carries on this team from weeks 1 to 9, much to the chagrin of literally anybody who owned Kenyon Drake, including me. It was a nightmare. Anytime they were inside the 10, it was fucking QB power. It was never Kenyon Drake, and all I saw was Kyler Murray scoring. But since week 10, when Kenyon Drake has returned, he has had 21 red zone carries compared to Kyler's 5. A massive drop off considering the previous work, and it's almost definitely what has led to these decreased touchdowns. And when you're a guy who has a banged up shoulder, can't throw as well, if you're not getting those rushing touchdowns, that rushing work in the really important area of the field, your fantasy production is going to take a hit, and that's what happened. He's dropped from QB2 all the way to QB18 as of recent. It's sad, but I think it's really time to panic about Kyler Murray. And last up on the list, we got Tom Brady, and stonks for Brady are looking up. He's hanging around still, kind of barely. He's the QB8 on the season, but if you've watched him play, he's had a lot of games where he hasn't looked great. The deep ball hasn't entirely been there. He's turned into the check down slant in route king a bit. Still has some nice balls to Mike Evans in the end zone, but it's not looking great for Tom Brady, I'll say that much. He's had as many 30-plus point weeks as he has sub-13-point games, and has been a bit all over the place in terms of week-to-week consistency. He's only had one span of 2 games where he's had back-to-back 20-point weeks all year. It's really kind of a microcosm of QB as a whole. If you're not one of those top 3, top 5 guys, you're not going to have that great week-in, week-out consistency that you look for. But I think moving forward, we might really finally start to get that. He's clicking with Mike Evans. He's targeting him a lot in the red zone. Him and AB are linking up again. Godwin's been banged up, but he's still looking nice with him. And Gronk, a few weeks back, still to date, really getting involved in the offense. Looking at his schedule, this is where it gets really, really appetizing. It's the 3rd easiest raw and 6th easiest adjusted, as per you-know-who, Mike Clay. And in terms of the teams he plays, it's Minnesota, Atlanta, and Detroit, who, in terms of points per game allowed to quarterbacks, are 14th, 32nd, and 22nd. Sorry, I heard my dog. I thought it was a person. But even beyond all the stats and the lovely matchups, there's just something different about a motivated Tom Brady when it comes to playing. He's coming off really tough, really shitty losses to the Chiefs and the Rams. And with this easy slate of games coming up where he really needs to kick it into overdrive to try and steal this division back from the Saints, it just feels like prime Brady, chip on his shoulder, even though he's won 6 titles and is probably the GOAT. It just seems like he's going to hit that underdog mentality that he carried throughout his entire career with the Patriots and finally let it loose here when he needs to most. You know what they say. It's like hell hath no fury, like a scorned Tom Brady or some bullshit like that. It's going to be a bloodbath, I think. Whenever the Buccaneers step on the field on offense, I think that talent is finally going to click. I think it's been a long time coming for them to really start rolling. I think Brady's going to start letting it fly. He needs to if they really want to try and secure this division. Take it from the Saints, who've looked bad on offense, good on defense, but still winning games, getting it done. I think easily, week 15, Tom Brady can be the QB1. Matchup against Atlanta is ridiculously juicy. They're not terrible on the ground, so that's going to force them to pass. And I feel like every game coming up for Brady is going to be a statement game. Just to recap, I'm feeling some stonks up for the boy Ryan Tannehill. I think Kyler Murray kind of stinks, and I think the GOAT, Tommy Six Rings, no one calls him that, but I just did, stonks are looking up for him. That's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, I wanted to get more quarterbacks in here, but nothing really felt natural. Nothing felt organic. I wasn't going to tell you that fucking Josh Allen was going to have fucking stonks. The dude's the QB like 3. How much better can you really get? He's going to play. I didn't want to force anything looking bad either. I just wanted to give you guys that I really had a strong opinion on either way. Everyone else is just kind of whatever they are, who they are. But I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. If you didn't, leave a dislike, leave a comment telling me why. And that's going to be it. Peace out, guys.